Have you ever been inclined to wonder why some men seem unshakable, calm in the storm, focused in the chaos, driven when the world around them sleeps? It's not luck, it's not talent, it's not magic, it's discipline, but not the loud, showy kind, not the kind that flexes for the cameras or posts every grind on social media. No, this is the silent power, the kind that doesn't speak, it acts, the kind that builds empires in silence and conquers weakness behind closed doors, the kind that turns ordinary men into unstoppable forces of purpose. In a world screaming for attention, the man who can control his mind becomes a rare breed, a silent warrior, not led by impulse but driven by inner command. In this video, we explore a truth that most ignore. Discipline is the root of freedom. Without it, your mind becomes a slave to distraction, to pleasure, to fear. With it, you become a master of your emotions, your time, your destiny. This is not just another motivation video. This is a blueprint built from ancient Stoic teachings, forged through real-life fire, and designed to awaken the greatness that already lives inside you. You'll walk away not just inspired, but equipped with the tools to discipline your mind, control your impulses, and lead a life that demands respect both from others and from yourself. You'll hear the echoes of Marcus Aurelius, the discipline of Epictetus, the quiet dominance of samurai warriors, and the raw truths that men today desperately need but rarely receive. Because here's the truth. In a world addicted to noise, a silent, disciplined mind is a rare and dangerous thing. So stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you won't just understand discipline, you'll embody it, you'll live it, and the world will have no choice but to take notice. If you're ready to reclaim your focus, master your mind, and rise as the man you were born to be, like this video, share it with a brother who needs to hear it, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Let us know where your discipline is being tested and where you're committed to conquering it. The journey begins now. Chapter 1. The Enemy Within. Mastering the Voice of Chaos. Have you ever been inclined to break a promise you made to yourself? To skip the workout? To hit snooze? To scroll when you said you'd focus? You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just at war. And the battlefield is your own mind. Most men are trained to think the enemy is out there. The economy, the job, the politics, the distractions. But the greatest enemy you'll ever face doesn't wear a uniform. It doesn't knock on your door, it lives inside your thoughts. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Those 15 words are enough to reshape a man's life, if he understands them. Because once you realize that the true battle is internal, the noise of the outside world becomes manageable. You stop reacting and you start mastering. An undisciplined mind is not just unfocused, it's dangerous. It will lie to you, it will sabotage you, it will rationalize your excuses and call them self-care. It will whisper, "One more scroll, you deserve a break. You'll start tomorrow." That voice sounds like your own. But it isn't your higher self. It's the frightened, weakened part of you that wants to be comfortable more than it wants to be excellent. And the tragedy? Most men live their entire lives obeying that voice. Not because they're weak, but because they've never been taught how to recognize it, confront it, and silence it. You see, discipline doesn't start with a planner or a gym membership. It starts with this: the ability to tell yourself no and mean it. That's where power begins, in the silence, in that private moment where you want to drift, but instead you choose to anchor yourself to purpose. Imagine your mind as a soldier. If that soldier hasn't been trained, it will break under pressure. It will run at the first sign of resistance. But if you train it, if you subject it to voluntary hardship, daily structure, and clear commands, it becomes lethal, focused, loyal, unshakable. Most men never train their minds. They let their moods drive the car. They let stress dictate their reactions. They treat motivation like a lightning strike, hoping it shows up and carries them to success. But the disciplined man, he doesn't hope, he builds. He turns routine into ritual. He shows up when it's raining, when it's boring, when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because he understands this simple truth: every action you take is either feeding weakness or strengthening power. The path to inner control. In ancient Sparta, boys were trained from the age of 7 to embrace discomfort. They were sent into the wild to survive. They were taught to fight, to go without, to endure pain with silence. Why? Because hardship reveals what comfort conceals. When you strip away luxury, you're left with truth. And truth is what discipline thrives on. In the modern world, we've reversed this. We've made comfort the goal: instant food, instant entertainment, instant validation. But here's the paradox: the more comfort you chase, the weaker your mind becomes. The more discomfort you embrace voluntarily, the stronger you become. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You don't need to suffer endlessly, but you do need to practice resistance. Get cold on purpose. Wake up early when your body wants more sleep. Train when you're tired. Say no when the world says yes. These aren't just habits, they're weapons. Each time you say no to ease, you say yes to evolution. Discipline is not restriction, it is not self-punishment, it is freedom, and of the highest order. Because when your mind is disciplined, your emotions don't own you, your impulses don't control you. You become the king of your inner kingdom. And once you rule within, you can rule without. Men who lack discipline chase success, women validation. But disciplined men attract, because their presence speaks volumes before they even open their mouths. There is power in stillness. There is presence in restraint. There is magnetism in mastery. When you walk into a room and your posture, your gaze, your silence all say, "I am not moved by chaos," you command respect. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Your first battle starts today. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to win every fight, but you do need to fight. Because the man who refuses to train his mind is a prisoner. Even if he wears a suit, has followers, or owns property. Your freedom begins the moment you stop negotiating with weakness. Get clear, set standards, keep promises, especially the ones no one sees. That's the difference between an average man and a legend. Discipline in the dark. Comment below. I master the voice within. If you're ready to fight back against mental chaos and build the discipline that makes you unbreakable. Chapter 2. The foundation of all greatness. How discipline builds character, confidence, and clarity. Have you ever been inclined to believe that some men are simply born confident? That they carry themselves with ease because they've always had it together? It's a lie. Confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you earn. And at the root of every confident man, every high-performing leader, every respected warrior or thinker, there is one force that built them brick by brick: discipline. Discipline is not the finish line, it's the foundation. It's what greatness stands on. And without it, every success you achieve will be shaky and short-lived, because it wasn't built on anything real. Discipline builds character, not comfort. Let's start with the word character. We throw it around a lot, but what is it really? Character is who you are when no one's watching. It's the decisions you make when the stakes are low. It's the discipline to stay honest when lying would be easier. It's the strength to be kind when you're under pressure. It's what you do in silence that shapes what people see in public. Discipline builds character because it teaches you self-control, and self-control is the root of all moral power. Think of men like Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, not bitter, not broken, but sharpened. His discipline of mind and spirit transformed a prison cell into a training ground. That's what real men do. They don't wait for perfect conditions, they become the condition, from repetition to respect, earning confidence. Discipline also breeds confidence, but not the fake, inflated kind, not the kind that comes from compliments or achievements, the real kind, the kind that grows silently in the dark. Confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every time you say, "I'm going to wake up early," and you do, you build trust. Every time you say, "I won't let anger control me," and you don't, you build respect. And every time you follow through, you start to realize, "I can rely on me." That's the seed of real confidence, not bravado, not noise. Just this calm, grounded sense of, I don't need to prove anything because I've already proven it to myself. You see, a disciplined man is not arrogant. He's rooted. He doesn't chase approval. He radiates power, and people feel it. They might not be able to explain it, but they're drawn to it, because real discipline is magnetic. Let's talk about something men desperately need in this age of distraction: clarity. The ability to know what you want, where you're going, and what needs to happen now. Here's the hard truth. You will never think clearly if you live without discipline. A mind left to wander will spiral. It will drift into anxiety, temptation, and confusion. But a disciplined structure, daily rituals, physical training, focused goals, clears the fog. It's like sharpening a sword. Without discipline, your edge gets dull. You start reacting to life instead of creating it. You get pulled by trends, relationships, media, fear. But when you apply structure to your days, you begin to see your life with precision. You stop asking, well, what should I do today? And start asking, what am I building this year? Discipline gives your mind tracks to run on, and a man with direction is unstoppable. Let's be clear, discipline isn't just one trait among many. It is the backbone of masculinity. A man who is physically strong but mentally weak is not yet whole. A man who is talented but undisciplined will self-destruct. A man who feels deeply but cannot direct those feelings will become unstable. Discipline brings balance. It gives your emotions structure. It gives your ambition focus. It gives your power purpose. The ancient Stoics knew this. They didn't say don't feel. They said don't let your feelings govern you. Discipline doesn't kill passion, it harnesses it. Like a dam controls a river, discipline takes raw emotion and channels it into creative, strategic, and impactful action. So many modern men are lost not because they lack heart, but because they lack the discipline to guide that heart. They want love, but can't commit. They want success, but can't focus. They want freedom, but live as slaves to impulse. Discipline is the bridge between what you want and who you must become to get it. There's another secret. Discipline is not glamorous. The most powerful things you'll do for yourself will often feel small. Waking up at 5 a.m., logging your meals, stretching when no one's watching, turning off your phone at 9 p.m., saying no to things that drain your energy. There's no applause, no likes, no instant results. But those little acts, they compound. They become identity. And in time, people will look at you and say, there's something different about him. They won't see the rituals, but they'll feel the results. Eventually, something powerful happens. Discipline stops being something you do and becomes who you are. You no longer have to force yourself to stay consistent, because now consistency is your nature. You don't chase motivation, because discipline carries you through the valleys. You don't shrink under pressure because you've built a mind that thrives under fire. This isn't theory, this is your new identity. One small decision at a time. Comment below, my discipline shapes my identity. If you're committed to becoming the man who builds his confidence, character, and clarity through daily action. Chapter 3. The battle against distraction. Reclaiming focus in a world designed to control you. Have you ever been inclined to sit down and do something important, only to find yourself an hour later, lost in notifications, meaningless scrolling, or thinking about 100 things that don't actually matter? You're not alone, you're not weak, but you are being attacked every single day. And the weapon being used against you isn't a gun or a sword, it's distraction. Let me be clear. We are living in the most distracted generation of men in human history. And if you don't fight for your focus, you will never see your potential. Discipline is your shield. Focus is your sword. And the battlefield is your mind. The war no one sees. Unlike the battles of history, the war for your mind is invisible. It doesn't announce itself with explosions. It seeps in slowly through glowing screens, endless options, and short dopamine hits. A new video, a new message, a new alert. Click, react, scroll, and your day is gone. Julius Caesar once said, if you must break the law, do it to seize power. In all other cases, observe it. That's how focus works now. You must become a rebel, because the systems around you are not built to empower your discipline. They are built to own your attention. Every app you use, every website you visit, every notification you receive, it's all part of an attention economy where your focus is the product, and the more distracted you become, the easier you are to manipulate. A distracted man is easier to sell to, easier to control, easier to lead astray. The focus is the new masculine edge. In this chaos, a focused man is rare. And in rarity, there is power. Focus is your edge. A man who can control his attention can control his future. He doesn't waste hours chasing what others are doing. He builds in silence while others are seduced by noise. Think of great minds: Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Alexander the Great. None of them had access to your distractions, but even with limited tools, they left a mark on history. Why? Because their minds were undivided. Their days were not stolen by 1,000 shallow tasks. They were immersed, obsessed, disciplined. Today, even the average man has more tools at his fingertips than the kings of old. But if you lack focus, all the tools in the world will only lead to failure. It's not about what you have, it's about what you can sustain attention on long enough to build. Here's the science they don't teach you in school. Every time you scroll, swipe, or indulge in easy pleasure, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of reward. And like any drug, your tolerance increases. Suddenly, the slow work of building a business, reading a book, or training your body feels boring. Not because it lacks value, but because your mind has been rewired to crave instant gratification. That's not a character flaw, it's a conditioning pattern. But here's the truth, you can reverse it. You can rewire your mind to find fulfillment in depth, not distraction. It begins with discipline over stimulation. Turning the phone off during sacred hours, spending time alone in silence, training your attention like a muscle, 1 rep at a time. Not every distraction is digital, but most are amplified by it. You must become a guardian of your mind's gates. What are you feeding your brain every day? Do your inputs inspire clarity, purpose, action, or do they stir confusion, insecurity, and wasted motion? The Stoics believed in training perception. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts." That's still true. You become what you focus on. So be ruthless. Unfollow what weakens you, mute what confuses you, delete what distracts you. You do not owe your attention to anyone or anything that steals your peace. How to build a fortress of focus. Discipline is not just saying no to distractions, it's building a lifestyle that protects your focus. Start with these strategies. Create sacred hours. Carve out 1 to 3 hours each day with no devices. Just deep work. No messages. No music. No checking. Pure creation or growth. Start with structure. Know your top 3 priorities the night before. Don't wake up wondering what to do. Decide in advance. Move your body. Physical activity restores mental clarity. A strong body builds a sharp mind. Feed your soul in silence. Meditate, reflect, write. Disconnect from the noise to reconnect with your inner wisdom. These aren't hacks, they're disciplines, and the man who practices them consistently becomes a weapon in a world of wandering minds. The masculine presence of focused men. Let's talk energy. Have you ever been around a man who was completely present? Not checking his phone, not fidgeting, not distracted, just still, focused, present. That man carries weight because presence is rare, and where presence is rare, power accumulates. This is one of the greatest hidden truths of masculinity. The more focused you are, the more respect you command, not by force, but by presence. It's not about being loud, it's about being here, fully, intentionally, undistracted. You want to be that man? You must train your focus like a warrior trains his blade. This is not about perfection. It's about ownership. You're going to get distracted sometimes, that's reality. But here's the difference. The undisciplined man lets it slide. The disciplined man reclaims his power. Don't aim for perfection, aim for ownership. Catch yourself drifting, then return to your mission. Every time you bring your mind back to what matters, you grow stronger, more aware, more present, more dangerous. in the best way. You don't need to give up technology. You just need to stop letting it own you. You are not here to be a consumer. You are here to be a creator. Comment below. I protect my focus like my future depends on it. Drop it below if you're ready to build unshakable focus in a world full of noise. Chapter 4. Discipline and Destiny. Why your legacy depends on what you do when no one is watching. Have you ever been inclined to wonder if your life is really going to mean anything in the long run? Not the day-to-day wins, but the legacy you'll leave behind. The truth is, you are always building your legacy, not someday, not after you hit your goals. Right now, with every choice you make when no one's watching. This final chapter is not about motivation. It's about eternity. It's about who you'll be remembered as, not in the headlines, but in the hearts of those your life touched. Because in the end, it's not your dreams that shape your destiny. It's your discipline. Every man has dreams, but most die with them still trapped inside because they lacked the one thing that makes those dreams real, the discipline to build in silence. Think about the great men history never forgot. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who led with wisdom in the face of chaos. Frederick Douglass, who taught himself to read as a slave and became a voice for millions. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated samurai who mastered both the sword and the soul. These men didn't wait for applause, they didn't need motivation, they followed a code, a disciplined path that forged them into legends. They did the hard thing, even when no one noticed. That's what built their name. Discipline in the dark leads to impact in the light. You become what you repeat, especially when it's hard. Let's get brutally honest, you already have a legacy. You're living it. The question is, will it be remembered with respect or forgotten in regret? Because every day you are reinforcing one of two identities. The man who shows up even when he doesn't feel like it. Or the man who breaks his own promises in silence and pretends it doesn't matter. But it does matter, because every rep, every journal entry, every decision to keep your word, these invisible moments are shaping something sacred, your inner code. That code is what people feel, even if they can't explain it. It's what women trust, what children model, what leaders recognize, what legacies are built on. And it's written by your discipline, not your desire. Who are you when no one is looking? The world tells you to focus on appearance, on validation, on how many likes, followers, or dollars you have. But what really matters is this: who are you in silence? Who are you when there's no audience, when there's no praise, when it's just you and the cold morning, you and the heavy barbell, you and the hard decision no one will ever see? That's the man the world needs. That's the man who will be trusted. That's the man who lives not for applause, but for alignment. And make no mistake, that man is not born. He is forged. In repetition, in pain, in isolation, he chooses discipline when it would be easier to escape. Sacrifice is the language of legacy. Every discipline choice is a sacrifice, and every sacrifice echoes into your legacy. Skipping the party to build the business, waking up early to pray, write, or train, choosing restraint instead of revenge, giving without recognition, speaking truth when it's easier to stay silent. These things cost you comfort, but they buy you character, and character builds legacy. Legacy doesn't come from being popular, it comes from being principled, and principles demand discipline, especially when it hurts. The unseen work is the most powerful work. We live in an age obsessed with visibility. But real men know what's unseen is more powerful than what's seen. The warrior trains before the battle. The builder lays the foundation before the walls rise. The king earns his crown long before he wears it. If you want to be respected, admired, remembered, stop chasing visibility and start doing the invisible work. Wake up early. Finish the workout. Build the project. Speak with integrity. Keep your word even when no one sees, especially when no one sees. Because that's when God sees, that's when you see, and that's when you shape who you truly are. Your discipline will outlive you. What you build in your lifetime doesn't end when you die. It ripples. It echoes in your children, your students, your community, and your culture. Imagine this. Your son wakes up at 5 a.m. because he watched you do it every day. A young man starts journaling because he read the words you wrote. A generation rises stronger because one man, you, chose discipline over comfort, silence over validation, principle over popularity. That's what legacy means. It's not about being famous, it's about being faithful. Discipline is how you live in such a way that your name becomes a standard, not just a memory. This is your time. Choose who you'll become. Let's end with a decision. This world does not need more clever men. It needs more disciplined men. Men who carry fire in their hearts and structure in their days. Men who are calm under pressure, clear in chaos, and anchored in values. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing. Willing to start again, willing to rise after falling, willing to stay the course, even when it's boring, painful, or quiet. Because in the quiet, you meet the man you were meant to be. He's already inside you, waiting for your permission, waiting for your discipline. The time is now. The legacy begins today. Comment below. I choose legacy over comfort. If you're ready to be the man whose discipline echoes long after he's gone,